Hi everyone, welcome to this Google Digital Garage training session on getting started with digital advertising. My name is David. I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, Google's Digital Garage. Just a bit about myself. I'm an experienced digital marketing trainer, as well as having a background in digital marketing that goes back about 22 years now. I've worked in this sector for a couple of decades, and I'm now working in augmented and virtual reality. I'd also like to introduce our moderator today, Glenn. Now, Glenn is also a highly experienced Google Digital Garage coach, and will be interacting with you, answering some of your questions via the instant chat over to the right there. Now, you can identify Glenn not only by his name, but also by the little blue spanner next to his name in case we've got more than one Glenn in the chat today. Now, just before we start, I wanted to call out a few things to help you out today. Firstly, if you're having any problems viewing the webinar right now or hearing it, or there's any delays, just try refreshing your page. That will solve 99% of the problems that you might encounter. If you would like to join the instant chat today, and I strongly recommend that you do, because it would be much better if we're having a two-way here rather than me just talking at you. You will need a YouTube account in order to do that, but you can really easily set one of those up by clicking in the box again over on the right there. We will be pausing throughout the session to answer some of your more complex questions from the chat, but do feel free to fire away with your questions throughout the entire session, okay? Now, just to let you know, we're running this Google Digital Garage virtual training as part of a broader offering of courses. So if you'd like to check out our schedule of upcoming webinar training, then just have a look at the information on this in the description below, which will link you through to our website. So that's the housekeeping done. Let's get started with getting started on digital advertising. So search advertising is being there when customers are searching for businesses like yours. Display advertising, another thing that we're going to go through here, is increasing your visibility across relevant websites, which people that might be interested in your products and services might be on those websites. And then social advertising is engaging with your customers and potential customers on social networks like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Now, let's have a look at what the key advertising options are available to you, like this. We're going to have a look at what are the benefits for each channel, across each channel, and which ones you might want to use in your situation. And then we're going to have a look at how we can make sure that we're doing the right things with our advertising, because it's not just about where you put it, it's about when and what you put up and who you put it up to. And then we're going to take you through how we actually set up these online advertising campaigns in each of the mediums that we spoke about today. Now, although we really do hope that you find this webinar helpful today, there's nothing like one-to-one help. So we also wanted to let you know that if you work for a small business or a charity in the UK, you can now sign up for free one-to-one mentoring sessions from Google. Now, like I said, these sessions are completely free with people like Glenn and myself, and they can help you one-on-one with a range of digital skills where you might need additional support, from building a strategy for your business to finding more customers online in general. Now, you can sign up and book a session at g.co/UK mentoring, and Glenn will be putting up the link in the chat for you today. Okay, we're going to come back to that at the end of this session as well. So if you don't get a chance to take a note of it, don't worry. But remember, if you're a small business or charity based in the United Kingdom, anywhere in the United Kingdom, then you are eligible for this, and it is free. Now, search advertising is the first thing that we're going to look at. Search advertising is advertising on search engines like Google or Bing or Yahoo. Now, I'd like you to maybe put into the chat if you have already advertised on Google or on other channels like this, or if you have used or clicked on links which are clearly advertising ones. We'll show you what they look like in a minute. While I'm waiting for your chat to come in, I'll just show you whereabouts you might find that. Okay, so this is a search engine results page, or a SERP is one of the things that we call it, which is just an abbreviation. Now, it contains on it three main things. The first thing that you'll notice is the search query. That's at the very top box there, which says takeaway pizza. So that's what somebody typed into Google because they were searching for takeaway pizza. Now, the results are then shown as either adverts or organic listings. Now, adverts are paid listings that appear above the organic listings. So surrounded by the yellow box there, just for the purposes of this presentation, those are the paid adverts. You can also see that there's a little green box just next to the web link saying ad. Now, that's a legal requirement for anything which is sponsored advertising, is to say ad, hashtag advert, something like that. And that's how you can tell. Now, as I say, these are paid listings that appear above the organic listings. There can be up to 4 of these on any given page. Below these are your organic listings. These are the ones that are surrounded here with a green box. Now, although many people might click on these, it might take a long time to get your business ranked or ranking up on these organic search engine results to get yourself on the first page for that specific search query that we see at the top. That can take time. So what do you do while you are building up a new website to the level where it's actually going to appear organically? Well, your shortcut is to use these paid ads. So let's give you an example, okay? Our example today is Polly's Pizzeria, and that's an Italian restaurant situated in Edgbaston in Birmingham in the United Kingdom. Now, Polly wants to increase his sales and is interested to know how digital advertising can help him. So whenever you're doing this, there's a process, and we're going to take you through this process. Now, the first step in the process is understanding your customers, and that's what makes everything else happen. This is always the way in marketing, as long as I've been in marketing, even prior to digital, is that 70% of your work is research. The more you know about the people who are going to be buying from you or the people who are going to be arriving in your website, the easier it is to find them, because you have a better understanding of how they tick, what they're thinking about, what motivates them. So having done that research, and we will go into this in more detail, don't worry, we then go to the stage of finding keywords. Now, we either speak to these people that are potentially customers of ours, or there are free tools which we'll show you, which allow you to come up with good keywords that you can bid on. I'll explain the bidding process in a minute. But these keywords must be relevant for your target audience. They must be the kind of things that they would type in to a search engine, not you, they, in order to find products and services like the ones that you have. The next step, and this is also vital, is creating your ad copy. That is to say, the text which makes up the advert, which they're going to see in response to their search query. If this text is good, they're going to be more likely to click on your ad and then come through to your website. So we need to understand exactly, again, what our target customer wants, and therefore what text or what ad copy is going to motivate them most highly to click on your result rather than anybody else's. And then our final stage is putting it all together. It might sound intimidating, this, but it's actually really simple. And we're going to take you through each step today. So feel free to take notes as we go, okay? So step one, understanding your audience, the all-important first step. So let's say you want to find more people like your existing customers. Now, in the case of Polly's Pizzeria, that might be students, busy professionals, and pizza lovers. Each of these are going to buy pizzas from Polly's Pizzeria, but they're going to buy them for different reasons. Then we're going to ask, and we'll go into this, then we're going to ask, where are they? So we know who they are. Where are they? So we know from Polly's day-to-day business that his customers are quite local. He doesn't get anybody outside of the Edgbaston area in Birmingham. So therefore, that's where he's going to want to target. Now, that's good news, because the narrower the target, the more tightly focused the geographical target, the lower the cost. And that's because there's less competition. There's less people bidding for that result. So if you're in a small area and your customer's in the small area, then you can define this in your advertising parameters that that's the only area that you want to target, or areas that you want to target, and that can reduce your price. Then, knowing who they are and where they are, we now need to know what's most important to them. Now, like I said, what motivates a student, or what motivates a busy professional, or what motivates a pizza lover, or foodie, as we call them sometimes, is going to be different from person to person. So they're going to need to see different ad copy. They're going to need to see different kinds of adverts to appeal to them more specifically. So we might know this kind of information from what these customers have told us about our products, or by the reviews that they left on our website or even other websites for similar businesses in the area. So how do we understand who your audience is? See, we're breaking it down further and further. So who's your audience? Well, let's say we want to find more people like our existing customers, students, busy professionals, pizza lovers in this case. And then we need to know where they are. So here's the first one, your audience. I want you to think about 3 potential audiences for your business, okay? And feel free to share them in the chat, and Glenn will share them with me. But in this case, like I say, it's students, busy professionals, and pizza lovers. Where are they? Now, there's three different ways to do this. So you can say Edgbaston. He can say Selly Oak, which is a more specific area within Edgbaston. Birmingham's a big place and it's divided into lots of subdivisions. Because he is a local pizzeria, he can be very specific. And then you see it says B15. Now, for those of you outside of the UK, that's a postcode area. So that again is Selly Oak within Edgbaston. So these are 3 ways that somebody who's looking for a pizza might actually qualify their search by saying pizzas near me, or they might say pizzeria in Edgbaston, or they might say pizza parlor in Selly Oak, or they might say I want a pizza in the B15 area. You see, all of these different ways of saying it are all going to have the same result in the sense of bringing up Polly's Pizzeria. Then we need to think about what's important to them. Now, in this case, we need to think about the 3 things that are important when it comes to products like yours. If it was a pizza lover, it might be the variety of toppings. If it was a busy, or if it was a pizza lover or a foodie or a food aficionado, it might be things like authentic ingredients. If you're a student, it might just be things like variety of toppings. It might be price. Students are not known for having a lot of money. And then if you are a busy professional, then you're just looking for something which is convenient. You've got back from a busy day of work, you don't have time to cook and you don't have the energy left to cook. You're just looking for fast delivery. Okay, so you see how understanding the different people can help you to understand the kind of information that people, or the kind of qualifiers, the things that people are looking at. So again, I want you to have a think about, put yourself in the head of your customer and think, well, what are the 3 things that might be important to one or more of these different types of segments, these different kinds of customer groups that you have? Now, once we've done that, that's going to give us all the information that we need to be able to bring up the appropriate, or put the appropriate keywords together, okay? As well as the ad copy, but we'll start with the keywords that these different types of people might put into the search engine in order to look for your products or services, or in this case, Polly's Pizzas. So now that we have an understanding of our target audience, we can start to come up with these keyword ideas. There's loads of different ways to do this, like, for instance, using the Google Keyword Planner tool. And maybe, Glenn, you could put in a link to that in the chat, because the Google Keyword Planner tool is a free tool which provides information on what people are searching for. You can narrow it down to specific areas. It will even give you suggestions for different things that people are searching for based on the decades of information that Google and other search engines have brought together in terms of knowing what people are searching for in that area. So we're going to keep it nice and simple, though, to begin with. So what is a keyword again? Well, keywords, just to reiterate, are words and phrases that are used to match to your advert with the terms that people are searching for. So for your ad to appear, you need a keyword to match some part of the user's search query in Google, okay? So for Polly's Pizzeria, we might look at matching words relevant to our business with words relevant to our location. So the idea is to use this kind of 2-column approach as a keyword generation tool for keyword ideas by combining different words together to form different potential search queries. For example, we could match pizza and B18 to form pizza B18 as a keyword. We could say fast food and match that with Edgbaston. But really, I'm just going to go through all the potential options that we could get from here. And that could be pizza B18, pizza Edgbaston, pizza Birmingham, fast food B18, fast food Edgbaston, fast food Birmingham, takeaway B18, takeaway Edgbaston, and takeaway Birmingham. Do you see how just 2 columns of 3 keywords can generate tons of results? But how do you know which ones are going to work and which ones aren't? Well, that's what the Keyword Planner tool is good for, because it can take all of these different combinations of keywords, and then it can tell you, okay, actually nobody's searching for fast food Edgbaston, but lots of people are searching for fast food Birmingham. Nobody's searching for takeaway B18, but a lot of people are searching for takeaway Edgbaston. And that way you know which ones you actually should use. And it's based on real factual information. So let's match the keywords with the business, just as an exercise, just so that you can start to practice doing this for your own business, okay? So some keywords that we need to align with the advertisers on the left of the next slide, and we're going to have a go at matching these up with the correct advertiser. Okay, so first of all, we've got mobile hairdresser in Birmingham. We've got a phone repair shop in Birmingham. We've got a cupcake shop in Birmingham. And we've got an online fancy dress shop. So I'd like you to put into the chat, and Glenn will share with me, the keywords that would be appropriate for phone repair shop in Birmingham. Can anybody think what would be the most appropriate ones here? Just type them in and Glenn will share them with me. In fact, I'm just going to go on here. Not seeing anything yet. I'm not seeing much chat from you guys. Now remember, this is going to go a lot better if you interact with Glenn and you interact with us, because then you're not just listening to me, you're actually getting to put your own chat in. And this will give you opportunities to ask questions, which I think will be really, really good. Now, Andrea, here we go. Adam and Andrea have come out with something. So Adam has said phone repair in Birmingham city centre. Very good, perfect. Andrea has said hairdresser reviews, mobile hairdresser. So we were going for mobile repair shop in Birmingham. So let's go for that. Barber Birmingham. Well, that's for mobile hairdresser Birmingham. Good. Good stuff. This is what we're talking about. So if we were to then go online fancy dress shop, we could, let's have a look and see what I can find here. Online fancy dress could be men's Halloween costume, extra, extra, extra large. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. And American football referee outfit. There's a good one. And then, let's see. This is a confusing one because we've got cupcake shop in Birmingham. We've got online fancy dress shop, but cupcake costume would be appropriate to online fancy dress shop. Brilliant stuff, guys. Okay. As you can see, there's some example keywords that you might come across. And with each keyword, you might even build out a keyword list of 10 to 15 other keywords that are closely related to the ad group for that product or service. So as we can see here, if we go to Cupcake Shop in Birmingham, we've got Red Velvet Cupcake Birmingham, Same Day Cakes Birmingham, we've got Best Cupcakes in Birmingham. If we go to Mobile Hairdresser in Birmingham, we've got Barber Birmingham, we've got Hairdresser Reviews Birmingham, and we've got Mobile Salon B21. Very good. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at actually creating the adverts based on these keywords, based on these members of the audience, okay? So the internet is full of adverts. So part of the work in making sure that people want to click on your ad, most important. So let's explore how we can make the adverts that you create the most engaging to the audiences that you've identified. Now, our adverts have to be relevant to what people are searching for. So go over the key elements in the description here with me, and we're going to have a look at how we can relate these back to Polly's Pizzeria. Okay, so we'll have a look at keywords targeting what people are searching for. Now, this is what it actually looks like when you're building up an advert in Google Ads. So first of all, you've got your URL, which is your web address. That's the one that you're directing people to. Yoursite.com, it might be pollyspizzeria.com. You've got your headline. Now, this is the bit that catches their attention, okay? And it's usually in blue, as you can see here. So we've got a keyword relevant headline. Then we've got an attention grabbing promotion. And then we've got an additional headline. So as we can see here, we've got pizza takeaway in Edgbaston. So we know that it's to saying where it is and what it is. And we know that's relevant to all of your audience. But then we're seeing fast 15-minute delivery. Now, can you remember which audience was most interested in fast delivery? Was it students? Was it foodies and people that are into high quality food? Or was it busy professionals? Well, if you remember, it was busy professionals. So this is an advert which is actually specifically aiming itself at these busy professionals. Now here we can see that pizza to you in 15 minutes or we'll give you a free pizza, order now. So there we go. We're seeing again, it's reiterating it's going to be within 15 minutes. So we know it's fast and it's guaranteeing it by giving an offer, as we say, an attention grabbing promotion. And that means that the person can be really confident that they're either going to get their pizza as fast as they want it or they're going to get an extra one. Now you'll see also that it says order now. Now that would seem to be fairly standard. Order now, you want them to order now. But this is called a call to action. A call to action is when you tell the person what you want them to do. And surprisingly, adverts that have a call to action have been seen to be about 5 times more effective in gaining clicks or gaining orders than ones that don't have a call to action. So although putting the words order now on the end of this ad doesn't seem to be particularly important or useful or relevant, actually, it can make a big difference. So always try to have a call to action, what you want the person to do next. Tell them what you want them to do next, and they're more likely to do it. Good. So here's some headlines which I would like you, again in the chat, to match up to the actual to the adverts, to the specific needs. Okay, so I want you to have a go at matching each of these up with the correct need, and I want you to then put it into the chat for me. So the people who value convenience, which of the ones would they go for? Now we can see we've got options like fast 15-minute delivery. And then we've also got, let's see, scheduled delivery available. Now that means that you can actually call up at any point in the day or the week and say, I want a pizza delivered on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. when I get home from work. So a schedule could be really good for convenience. What about people who value variety? What might they go for? So again, I'd like you to put that into the chat. People who value variety. Let's see. We can see here that we have a few different options. Italian Neapolitan pizza? No, I think that's probably going to be people who value an authentic experience. And what about, let's see, live Italian music? That's not necessarily going to be relevant to people who value variety. Again, that's people who want an authentic experience. So what do you think? Okay, just to keep things moving, I'll move on, but I do want to see your chat. Oops, there we go. So people who value variety, we've got 17 different toppings available, and we've got a different deal every day. Now, why is it important for us to make sure that our keywords and our ad text match up with the actual different kinds of people who are buying from us? Well, I'm going to give you a quick analogy here because I think it's relevant. As I say, I've been doing marketing for 23 years now. And what we've discovered is that if you try to make any one advert appeal to everybody, it's not going to appeal to anybody. You've got to focus. Now, I'll give you an example from the real world. If you've ever been on a train or a bus and you've noticed those little hammers that you get for breaking the glass in emergencies, those little hammers weigh practically nothing. They're very, very light. It's just a bit of plastic with a tiny little conical pointed head on it. Now, anybody who knows about trains or bus windows know that they're built to be very strong. They're built to be able to hit, have bits of stone hit them at over 100 miles an hour without breaking, because that happens a lot, or branches as they pass by trees. And they don't break because they're incredibly strong. So how can a tiny little hammer like that break that window? Well, the reason is that unlike a large sledgehammer, a big heavy hammer that you could hit off one of those windows for hours and you wouldn't make any headway, it wouldn't break the window at all. These little hammers come to a point, a focus. That means that every single pound of pressure that you tap that window with is going to that one focus point, which is enough to smash that window into a million pieces. Whereas a sledgehammer, has only got an inch wide head, and that is enough to disperse the impact to the level where it's useless. Well, marketing is exactly the same. Focus is important. People are going around with so much information coming at them from adverts, radio, television, internet especially, that unless the advert is absolutely specifically tailored to them, they're not going to notice it. They're going to filter it out. And that's why having an understanding of the different audiences that you have and making sure that every advert that you create is specifically focused on those advertising groups is going to get you so much more impact. So it's worth spending that extra time, trust me. An advert that tries to appeal to all will appeal to none. An advert that tries to appeal to a specific audience with knowledge of what is they're interested in will have much more success. So how do we put all this information together? Well, we've already looked at who our customers are. We've already looked at where they are, and we've already looked at what's important to them. So how can we now create a really good advert that's going to bring it all together? And also, I want you in the chat to ask any questions that you might have so far about anything that I've said, and I can take the opportunity now to answer these for you, okay? So start getting your questions together. So how do we bring all this stuff together? Well, first of all, in order to set up a Google ad, we log into Google Ads with our Google Ad account, or we create one. Again, Glenn will be able to put the link into the chat for how you get to Google Ads. But if you just Google the word Google Ads, you'll probably find it pretty quickly. Now, each ad has to start with a campaign, particularly if you sell lots of different products. Then campaigns will help you to organize how you promote them. So for instance, as a shoe seller, you might have a campaign for men's boots or women's shoes or winter Wellingtons. These are all going to have different ways of targeting them, and you're going to put them in different campaigns. So as we're focusing on search advertising, you then select the search network to ensure that your adverts are shown there. Easy enough so far. So then you want to get onto targeting, okay? So let's say you're wanting to target a location. You want to choose your city or even a specific postcode initially. Well, remember what I said before, the larger the geographic area, the more search volume is likely, the more numbers of searches are likely, but you're going to end up with more competition. So it's going to cost you more. So it's a good idea to focus it down as much as you can to the relevant places that you would be selling in. You can also specify the times of day or the specific days of the week you want your adverts to run, or on the other hand, not run. You'll also be given the opportunity to set a budget for your campaign. Now, this is one of the reasons why this form of advertising is so popular, is that you can cap your budget. You can say, well, I only have £20 or 20 rupees to spend. I want to make sure that that money is spent and no more. Okay? And that way you've got confidence that you're not going above your budget. So you then can enter a bid. Make sure that this is relatively low to begin with, so you can get a gauge of how many clicks you could potentially get, how well these different keywords are going to perform initially within your budget. As we discussed before, you'll be able to add the keyword list that you've created related to your ads, the one that combines things like interests, areas, and products. And then you can put all of these in, and it will give you an idea of what the traffic's going to be and how much it's going to cost, how many clicks it's going to generate, and how much each of those clicks is going to cost. Now, try to make sure that this is tightly themed to your audience, to your market, and consider matching options to strengthen it. Now, matching options are, as you can see in the middle column here at the bottom, you've got keyword, which broad match. And broad match is really anything which has any of those words in there. And then the one that says keyword in inverted commas, if you put inverted commas in it, that's a phrase match. And a phrase match will be any of those, all of those words, but in any order. And then finally, if you see the one on the right there is keyword in square brackets there. Now that is an exact match. That means that it will only appear, your ad will only appear if somebody types in the exact words in the exact same order. Personally, I like exact matches. I find they're cheaper. I find that they get you better and more relevant results. And I find that it's just better focused. But you can try any of these, because sometimes initially it can give you an idea of what keywords that, or orders that you'd maybe not thought of, which are actually end up working. So remember, always keep your headline in line in your advert with what people are actually searching for. And as you can see in the right-hand column, this is where you create the advert. Keep your headline so that what they've searched for is what they see in the headline, and then they go, yep, that's what I wanted, and then they're more likely to click on your ad. And be sure to include any promotions or offers that you have, because these are what make you stand out against other people advertising the same things in the same areas. Okay, so wait a minute. We have a question from Leah. For the call to action, can you give us some examples? Absolutely, good question. So it can be something as simple as to learn more, click here, or click here to learn more. It can be as simple as to take advantage of this offer, click now. So basically what a call to action is you're telling the person what you want them to do, and ideally you're also telling them why or what they're going to get when they do that thing. So click here to take advantage of this offer is telling them that you want to click on this link, and the reason that they're going to click on this link is to take advantage of the offer. Or click now to learn more. You're telling them that you want to click now, and when they do click now, they're going to learn more about that offer or that product, that service or product. And then, again, this might seem really, really simple, but I'd like you to think about the way that people search online. Their attention spans are now shorter than goldfishes. They're just a few seconds because we've got so much information coming in. Now imagine you were running down a hill or skiing down a ski slope, if you've ever done that. You don't have much time to make your decisions, okay? So if, for instance, somebody had a shop on one side of the slope and they had a bar or a pub on the other side of the shop, they would need to put their sign far ahead of that pub or that shop in order for you to know that you were going to make the decision. And they would need to keep that very, very clear. Turn left if you want to go to the shop. Turn right if you want to go to the pub. That's how fast people are moving online. You need to tell them in very, very clear terms what you want them to do and how they need to do it so that they have enough time to do it before their mind has moved on to something else. This is why it's such a successful, or why it has so much more success, as I say, 5 times more than if you don't have a call to action. That's why, because people think too fast, they move too fast. You've got lots of volume, you've got lots of eyes on your adverts, but you have to really grab them and tell them what to do. So I hope that those are good examples for you, but you can really come up with anything. It just is what you want them to do and what they're going to get when they do it. And that way they're incentivized, but they're also guided in terms of what they do next. So that's a good question, Alea. Keep them coming, guys, okay? So display advertising is another form of advertising. So search advertising is intent-based. It means that people have an intent to buy a thing. They've decided that they want pizza in their area. They've decided that they want a pair of shoes. They've decided that they want to book a hotel. And they've actively put in or demonstrated their intent to buy by typing that into a search engine like Google or Bing or Yahoo. And therefore, we have a high chance or a high likelihood that they are going to want that thing and buy that thing. So that is worth a lot of money. And these costs per clicks are therefore a little bit higher. What's a little bit lower is something called cost per impression. And that is where your advert just appears in front of people who might be interested, and they might be interested because they're on a related website. And that's what display advertising is all about. Display advertising allows your adverts to be seen by a broad audience. It's a bit like billboard advertising that you might get on the side of a motorway, people traveling past in high volumes in cars. Lots of people will see your ad, but only a few might actually engage with it as a result. So this is a volume game. This is playing the numbers more than playing the intent. But it's still really valuable. People spend thousands of pounds per month or even hundreds of pounds per day in certain areas like Times Square in New York in order to be in those billboards. Now, in this case, it's a bit more targeted because it's not just somebody passing by in a road or somebody that happens to be in Times Square. This is people who are on websites that are related to the kind of things that you sell. So again, they're more likely to be interested in the kind of things that you sell. I'll give you some examples. So display adverts come in all shapes and sizes, as we can see here. Predominantly, these are image banners. As we can see at the bottom, a banner is usually wider than it is tall. But sometimes you get them at the right-hand side of the page, usually, and they're higher than they are wide, which we call portrait format. Now, different formats are available. You can get text adverts, which are just text. They don't tend to work as well in terms of grabbing people's attention. Image adverts can work better because they are appealing and you can make them appealing and people can understand them without even having to read the text, So as we can see on the top left here, the Sony one is clearly a widescreen television with some accessories. So you don't even have to read the text to know that. It tells you everything that you need. But what's more appealing still are video adverts because our eyes are drawn to movement. So the problem with these kind of adverts is that our brains can filter them out, because it's potentially extraneous information to what we're trying to read on the website. But if something's moving, our eyes are naturally drawn to that. So again, these adverts can appear across mobile websites. That is to say, these kind of things that all appear on your phone. And again, they're going to be different accordingly. They might have a different size. They might be laid out at the bottom rather than at the right, because this isn't as wide as it is tall. Whereas your normal computer screen is wider than it is tall. So you've got more room on the side. So image adverts can be more effective in getting people to click, as I mentioned, as they're more visual, as people are often more visual and more visually motivated, particularly online, where most of our other senses aren't really brought to bear. So I want you to think about this. How is display advertising different from search advertising, from everything that I've told you? I'd like you to put into the chat what you think about this. How is it different? Is it going to be relevant to you? There are reasons why it might be relevant, even if you don't think it is. And I'll go into these in a little second. Okay, so search advertising versus display advertising. Search is focused around addressing search queries. The likelihood that they will generate sales is higher as we understand exactly what the user is searching for, and they have demonstrated their intent to buy by searching for it in the first place. With display advertising, we don't have as clear an understanding of what the user is interested in, as we're serving adverts against the content or the websites that they're viewing. They're matched to that. So, for example, Polly's Pizzeria might want to show a banner ad on the food section of the Birmingham Mail because it's to do with food and it's to do with Birmingham, and that will help to build local awareness that he exists. That's a big difference, as your display adverts might be seen almost anywhere on the internet, but your search adverts will be only limited to the people with search engines like Google who are making these adverts, these searches for these specific products and services. Also, with these search adverts, these are going to be text links, not image adverts. So first step, again, as always, is to understand your customers. This is what makes everything else happen. I want you to find placements with potentially millions of websites available, and then we need to whittle these down to a handful of options, which we're going to show how to do, that are most relevant to your customers and your products and services. Then we need to create our ad creative. So instead, before we created ad copy, which is just text. This time we're going to create full adverts with images and even video in order to grab people's attention, as well as text. So we need to understand again what our target customer wants. And then finally, we're going to put it all together. Within Google Ads, we can create a powerful display campaigns right there in the platform without having to involve anybody else. And we can add them to our search campaigns. So we're going to go over this process. So first of all, like I said before, and like is always important, is who is your audience? Let's say that we want to find people like our existing customers. In this case, tradesmen, DIYers, property developers. Well, where are they? So where do we think we can find them online? Well, this might be based on research and using tools like the Google Display Planner. In fact, we're going to stick with Polly's Pizzeria here. So again, we've got students, busy professionals, and pizza lovers. And then we're going to think about 3 places that they might go. Now, what we mean by that is websites, places online. So they might go to student websites if they're a student. They might go to a local food directory if they're a busy professional looking for food in their area. And pizza lovers might go to websites or food blogs because they're interested in the actual quality and variety of the food itself. So once we've thought about the kind of places that they might go, we just enter the relevant keywords into the display planner, which we'll show you how to get to. And you basically just click that in there and it will give you some examples of relevant websites. It will tell you which ad formats are available and the relevance factor, how relevant each of these ones are to your website. As we can see here on the right, the little green bar actually shows us how relevant they are. Ordertakeaways.co.uk is highly relevant to the keywords that we've seen at the top: pizza, takeaway, restaurant, and the location. So the placements are www.pizza.co.uk, we've got eateasy.co.uk, we've got pizzamaking.com, which is a pizza forum with multiple locations, and we've got everymenu.co.uk. Now, pizzamaking.com might be for people that want to make their own pizzas, but as anybody who's ever watched the Great British Bake Off will know, watching how to make a jam roly-poly or a Battenberg cake isn't necessarily going to make you actually make one, but it is going to make you hungry, and you might well end up going out and buying one, and that's why that could still be relevant to Polly's Pizzeria. So moving on to the next step of the process, creating adverts that resonate with those customers. Now, users have become so accustomed to seeing banners adverts that they tend to filter them out. They tend to ignore them. That's not to say that you can't make your adverts stand out, however. The images on the right contain some good examples of best practice. First of all, they're visually descriptive. It shows a pizza. It shows the right colors for food, which tend to be a combination of green, beige, and red. Okay, those are really good colors for serving food. The good thing about pizzas is they tend to have those colors in them. And then we've got references at a given locale. So it actually says it's Edgbaston. It actually says, well, it doesn't say Birmingham in this case, but they both say Edgbaston. And then they also promote a specific offer, as it says here: buy one pizza, get a second one for free, whether that's the text advert or whether that's the image advert. Now, do you see the arrow with a circle in it? That is a visual call to action. That is something which indicates, just from our experience, that if you were to click that, it would take you somewhere. So that is worth having on there. A visual call to action, a button that people know if they click it is going to take them to where they're going to go or where they want to go. Let's have a look at some of the other things that we can do to make sure that people click on our adverts. And this is to putting it all together. So again, remember, we need to understand who our customers are, where they are online, what websites they're going to, how to find the most relevant placement ideas, and how to create good ad creative. Again, this is a good time to ask any questions that you might have. So keep them coming in, okay? Anything you're not sure about, and I'm going to take you through this process while I'm waiting. So again, we go into Google Ads with our Google account, or we create one. Now, in this case, we don't click on search because we're actually wanting to put up a display ad. So as you can see in the center column, we click on display. Then we have to start with a campaign, just like we did before. And that campaign is, if you sell lots of different products, the campaigns will again help you to organize how you promote these different products. For instance, as a shoe seller, as I mentioned, we may have that campaign for men's boots. We may have another campaign for women's shoes. We might have another campaign for winter Wellingtons. In the case of Polly's Pizzeria, we might have ones that are targeting students, another campaign that targets busy professionals, and another one that targets people who are interested in authentic Italian food. As we're focusing on display advertising, as I mentioned, you click the display network, and that ensures that your adverts are shown on the display network. And that is to say, a network of websites who have agreed that that adverts can appear on their websites, and different people that are going to the same website will see different adverts according to their previous search results or their location. And you'll get to be there depending on how relevant you are to them. Then we need to communicate our targeting options. So here you have to be, again, as specific as possible. The more specific you are about where your adverts are going to be served, the more targeted and relevant they will be. So you can target by postcode, by city, or even a radius around your business, as we can see here. So this is relevant for Polly because he knows that he's only delivering or being asked for deliveries within a certain area. So the step 4 is you put in some keywords relevant to the kind of things that you know that people are interested in, and it will show you some examples. So remember, the value of the display planner is to find relevant website placements. So remember that it's a free tool and you can use it to find websites within that Google Display Network. It's an easy tool to use, and it gives you information relating to websites, the websites themselves, the number of visitors that they receive on a weekly basis, and a breakdown of who is visiting these sites in terms of their age, their gender, and other information about them, so that you can gauge whether you think that they're relevant or not. So moving on to the next step of the process is creating adverts that resonate. Now, the images on the right contain some good examples, again, of best practice. So again, as we can see here, it's visually descriptive. We can see the lady eating the pizza. She's clearly enjoying it. It looks like a tasty pizza. It also references the given locale, which is Edgbaston, again. And again, it's saying buy one pizza, get a second one for free. And then we see that call to action image, which is the little arrow in a circle. There are different ones out there, but those ones can work really well. And again, that's going to make the person more likely to click on that. The example that we're seeing here is based on a mobile phone, but it will show you different layouts for different things, like a tablet or a desktop, and you can set them up differently. And all the person's had to do in order to create this advert is upload an image. So as we can see here, they've just uploaded an image, put some text in, and it's generated the result on the right. Now, it's always a good idea to test different types of adverts against one another so you can see what resonates best amongst your target audience for that particular advert. So don't just go with one. Try a few different variations, keep an eye on it, come back to it, and whatever one seems to be doing best, that's the one that you keep running with. And you can get rid of the other ones. Then you're going to get better bang for your buck. You're going to get a better return for an investment. So I'm not seeing any other questions here, but I'm sure that some of you are thinking, I really want to know more about this. And remember, there are no silly questions, okay? If there's anything that I haven't said at the moment, or if anything that I've said which isn't clear to you, the chances are it's not clear to other people who are listening or watching right now. So you're not just helping yourself by asking these questions, you're helping them. And you're helping us, because we can continue to add more detailed stuff to these seminars as they go forward. So do please feel free to come out with any questions that you might have. I'll be more than happy to answer them, and you'll be helping everybody by asking them in the first place, okay? Now, I don't see any at the moment, so I'll just keep going, but remember, keep the questions coming at any point, and Glenn will feed these to me when we get to our next Q&A session, which will be in a few minutes, okay? So finally, our final type of advertising is social paid advertising. Now, can you think why businesses like yours might want to advertise on social media, if at all? I want to know if any of you are actually already advertising on social media or have maybe tried it. Have you been successful? Have you not? Can you think of why that might be? Let me know any experience you have with social media advertising as I go through this. So you might already have a presence on these platforms, but advertising allows you to find those hard to reach potential customers. A lot of people are on social media. A lot of people who don't really use the internet for very much else at all are on social media every day. So you might find that there's a bigger audience there for you than anywhere else. But it's a question of understanding which of these social media channels, for instance, Facebook, Twitter, WeChat, Baidu, YouTube, LinkedIn, are actually relevant to your customers, to your products. So for example, if I wanted to drive brand awareness of my business, I might create adverts with a specific objective to get my target audience to like my page. And that way they can, first of all, be aware that I exist, that my business exists. But second of all, be there when it comes to me putting out regular content so that they're reminded that I exist and all the different things that my business in terms of products and services could give that are relevant or potentially relevant to them. Alternatively, we might want to drive people who already like our page to a specific promotion that we have on our website. So again, you can use advertising for that, because not everybody who likes your page is going to see all of your posts, but they will see the posts that you promote. It's best to build an audience first before you do start to promote special offers and promotions, because social networks have become an increasingly cluttered space where many advertisers compete for attention. If somebody's already liked your page or followed your profile on social media, that indicates that they are interested in general in the kind of stuff that you have to offer, and therefore adverts you put out are more likely to find fertile soil in their minds, that they are more likely to click on these ads. So the main differences between organic and paid social media, what do you think they are? You see, organic social media, well, first of all, it's free, just like organic search engine results. Views, actions, or clicks on your post don't cost you anything. Content will appear on your business's profile and in people's news feeds who have followed your business page. But it can only reach your followers or friends of your followers, or people who have clicked on your business page. It won't reach anybody else in general. Whereas with paid social media, you pay for views, you pay for actions or clicks from your posts or your adverts. Your advert can actually appear in more places. It can reach anyone, even people who haven't followed your page or who haven't heard of you before. So that can be good because you can target these really, really tightly to the kind of person, the kind of job that they have, the kind of age that they are, the interests that they might have. You can really, really target it. And that's why some of the adverts that you'll see in social media are almost spookily appropriate to you, because these social media channels know you and know your interests so well, and there are so many options for advertisers like you to match up these interests and these types of people really, really closely and really tightly to your audience. Remember that little hammer with its focus? It's all the more important here. So how do these look different from each other? Well, on the left we have an organic Facebook post, and on the right we have a sponsored post. Let's do a quick game of spot the difference. Can you see what the difference is between the organic post and the one which isn't organic? Oh, here we go. On the one on the left here, we can see the link back to the website. We can see the information about the website, and we can see the results. On the one on the right, it actually says suggested post. It says sponsored. Remember, legally, if you have an advert, if you're paying for it, you have to say ads or advert or sponsored. It has to say that. So we can see under Fabletics UK, it says sponsored. It gives you the option to like the page. Now, that's a visual call to action, right? And that would mean that anybody who clicks on that button is going to therefore see more posts from that page in future. It also has not only the caption at the top, life is a journey, find your workout inspiration with Fabletics. At the bottom, it's got another caption, look good and feel good. Fabletics offers stylish sportswear crafted from the best quality fabrics. And then again, the link. So again, you're getting more of an opportunity to show people why this is relevant to them and why they would therefore want to click on you. It doesn't actually say or give a call to action, however. And in some platforms, you won't get the opportunity to click on a link unless you're paying for the advert. For instance, Instagram. An organic Instagram post will not allow you to click on a link. You can only say, go back to our homepage and click on the link there, which a lot of people won't bother to do. Whereas a paid one, you can. You can have a click right there, or a clickable link right there. So here again is another example. On the left, we have an Instagram organic post, and on the right, we have an advert. So again, you can see that these have been done slightly differently from each other. One of them just shows a cool setup of Adidas trainers, which is going to attract attention and get quite a lot of likes, 580. The one on the right is actually saying, okay, here's what's good about these trainers. They have these special features. Here's three different, there's one of three images. You can have multiple images that people can scroll through. And again, you see the shop now thing right underneath the trainer. That is a call to action. It's also a clickable link that will take them directly to your website. So again, here's an example of a Google advert. Okay, on the top we have an organic Twitter tweet, and then we have a sponsored tweet on the right there. Okay, so again, we can see that the one on the left isn't sponsored, and it doesn't, well, it does actually have the ability to click on a link. The one on the right there has two options, just like we saw in the Facebook one, to put more information in there. So as well as having information at the top, we've got information on, at the bottom as well, and a clickable link. Also at the bottom, it says promoted, which is another of the ways to be within the rules of the law in terms of explaining whether it's a paid advert. Now, with so many different options, it can be a challenge to decide on which social network to focus on. It's much better to focus, initially at least, on a single channel than to spread yourself too thinly across multiple social networks. We're all busy people. We have businesses to run. We can't be spending all of our time on 100 different social media channels. So instead of trying everything and seeing what works, do it one at a time. Give yourself a week or two on Twitter. Give yourself a week or two on Facebook. Give yourself a week or two on Instagram. And then see what works well and what doesn't. It gives you enough chance to focus, check your return on investment relative to these different channels without spreading yourself too thinly. And remember that you'll be advertising, as we can see, differently depending on the channel. So you need to have that focus. Now, again, what's most important initially? Understanding your customers. I know that I sound like a broken record here, but it couldn't be more important. This is what makes everything else happen, if you haven't picked that up so far. Then you find your placements. Now, with potentially millions of social media pages and channels available, we need to whittle this down to a handful of options. Then again, just like before, we need to create our ad creative. Now, in order to create good adverts, we need to understand what our target customer wants, what they're going to respond to. So again, it's down to your research. And then you put it all together. Now, within social media platforms, we can create powerful campaigns in addition to reaching very highly targeted audiences, perhaps the most targeted audiences out of all of these channels that we've seen. So we're going to go over this process with you. First of all, you're going to use the kind of analytics, the kind of systems which allow you to understand your audience that you can only get in social media. You can get Google Analytics and Bing Analytics and so forth and search engines, but each social media channel has its own analytics system. Facebook has Insights, and Facebook Insights will see how many of your target customers are on your page or are on Facebook in general. If you know the rough demographics of your audience, demographics are their age, their gender, their interests, hobbies, and their job, that kind of thing. Now, of course, you can also ask your customers, which is always a good way to start, which social networks that they use in order to find people just like them. But these are really good, quick ways to find these. You can, in certain social media channels, actually see what your competitors are doing as well. It's a good idea to follow your competitors across their different social media channels to see how they're interacting with their, and therefore your, target audience. And if they built a sizable audience, then you know that the social network that they're using has some potential. You can also keep an eye on the adverts, which are doing best, that are getting the most likes, and that will give you an idea of what kind of adverts might work for you. The best place to find this kind of information in general, in terms of what's driving traffic to your website, because that's usually where we'll convert them, is your Google Analytics. Now, that's a free tool. You just can, and when you go into Google Analytics, if you have it already, go to Acquisition, All Traffic and Channels, and it will tell you which of the social media channels are driving the most people to your site, but also which is generating the most revenue or the most engagement, which we can see in goal completion rates and bounce rates and so forth. We do a session specifically on that, so have a look at our timetable of sessions to look up when we're next doing one in Google Analytics. We also do these 24/7. I'll give you the link for that at the end of this session, okay? Now, of course, if a particular social network is naturally driving traffic, then that's a good sign that there's a natural alignment between the kind of people that social network attracts. Let's say it's Facebook or LinkedIn, and your existing audience, or the kind of products and services that they're interested in. The targeting options in social media differ according to which social media channel you've got. As you can see here on Facebook, you can target ones to where people are, what age and gender they are, what interests they have, and even if they have a birthday coming up or they're going on holiday, life events, which they may have mentioned in their social media channel. Twitter is slightly different. Again, you can target according to location, gender, and age, but also keywords, things that they might have typed in, hashtags that they might have used, and also who else they are following. If you're Polly's Pizzeria, you can target anybody who's following Domino's Pizza or Pizza Hut in the area, knowing that they have an interest in pizzas. That's quite useful, and it's unique to Twitter. Then LinkedIn, which is more of a business channel, think of a business version of Facebook, that can also do location, it can also do gender and age, but because it's a business related one, you can target according to the person's job title, their level of seniority, the skills that they might have, which can be highly relevant. So I want you to have a think about these different social media channels. One that says, I want to target females who live in Coventry, like jewellery, and have a birthday coming up. Where would you go for that? One that's saying, I want to target people who live in Leeds and are following my competitors. There's your cue. And then one that's saying, I want to target financial directors who work in IT based in the UK. Which ones do you think it might be? Well, I think the first one is going to be Facebook. The second one is going to be Twitter, because it can say who's following your competitors. And the third one is clearly asking about people's job skills and seniority, where their location is. So that's going to be LinkedIn. Okay, do we have any questions? What is analytics from Alea? Analytics is a system which allows, for particularly Google Analytics, it's a free tool that you can download onto your website, and it will tell you who is visiting your website, where they've come from. Have they come from organic searches? Have they come from paid searches, social media, display adverts, all the things that we talked about? And what are they doing on your website? Are they spending long on there? A minute, 2 minutes? Are they visiting 1, 2, 3 pages? Are they getting to your conversion page where they actually can buy things from you, like an e-commerce buying page or a sign-up page on a lead generation website? It'll tell you all of this information. It'll even tell you what bits of your website are working and what aren't. It's a really, really good one to look at, Alea. And remember that there's analytics for every different social media channel as well. So they tend to have different names, but in Facebook's and Instagram, it's called Insights. But if you look up analytics, it's a super useful tool. And it really tends to say, okay, where is your existing market coming from? Where are the existing visitors for your website or your social media? What are they doing? And in terms of all that research that you need to do, it's a really, really good way to get an idea of your actual customer base that you've got now, rather than new ones. Okay, so next steps. You've got a lot to take away from this, okay? And so I want you to, I'm going to go to some other bits of chat and other options that you have to get more information from us. You've still got another few minutes to ask any questions that you might have. I'm sure that you will have questions, so do keep them coming, okay? So first of all, just to reiterate, if you have a business, a small business, or you work for a charity within the United Kingdom, within Great Britain, then you can sign up for free Google mentoring sessions. Do make use of this free resource if you can, and it will allow you to spend time one-on-one with somebody like me or with Glenn or with many others who are at least as qualified as we are to help you go into more detail into some of the topics that we've discussed today, or anything that you feel that you might need specific help on because of your business. So again, Glenn is sharing that in the chat, which is g.co.uk mentoring. Okay, so try that one if you are in the UK. Also, we are running many more Google Digital Garage webinars in lots of different subjects, including analytics, Alea. And so if you want to check out the schedule of these webinars, have a look at the information on these in the description below. There you're going to find lots of different topics available to watch, and we'll be updating that schedule regularly. So keep coming back and checking, okay? There's some great stuff on there. Plus, if you'd like to carry on learning online in your own time, maybe these seminar times don't suit you, then check out the Google Digital Garage website for more online training courses, which are available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Any day you want. You can do them in any order. If you do all of them, you can even get a free exam and a free certificate in digital marketing, which is industry recognized. So it's definitely worth looking at that. And it's really, really easy to follow because it's in video format. You can have it transcribed into text, whatever you like. Finally, if you have any feedback or questions on today's session, do feel free to contact us using the email address team@thedigitalgarage.co.uk, which is also at the bottom of the description below. Okay, so I'm hoping that that's really going to help you. Thank you for all of your questions and comments that we've had so far. I'm going to wrap up because we're just about to run out of time, but I hope this has been a useful dive into promoting your business online. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, there's more training available from the Google Digital Garage, and the ways that I just mentioned are how you can get that training. Thank you everyone for joining me today, and I do look forward to welcoming you again to another Google Digital Garage training session very soon. Thank you.